I never imagined a chance encounter with a homeless girl would change my daughter's life forever. I will never forget the day everything fell apart. The sun was setting, painting the sky in fiery orange and crimson strokes, but my heart felt cold, burdened with worry. Sarah, my 10-year-old, was supposed to be home from school. I scanned the familiar streets, my breath quickening. There was an uneasy silence, punctuated only by the distant echo of laughter that didn't belong to us. I found her at the playground, giggling with a girl who looked as misplaced as a rose in a garbage can. My gut twisted. The girl had tangled hair, dirt-smudged cheeks, and a smile that felt both innocent and eerie all at once. I tensed, tears threatening to spill. My mind raced. Who was she? What was her story? I approached, forcing a smile that felt heavy on my lips. As I drew closer, I caught whiffs of something sweet yet musty, like stale candy left out too long. The mystery girl's eyes shone with a strange intensity, captivating, yet unsettling. In that moment, time slowed. I felt Sarah's small hand slip into mine, warm and trusting. But her gaze was fixed on the stranger, as if mesmerized. "Mom, she's really funny," Sarah chirped, laughter bubbling up like effervescent soda. My heart ached with an odd mixture of dread and curiosity. What did this girl see that I couldn't? "Who are you?" I managed to ask, the words tasting like gravel. "Just someone who knows how to have fun," the girl replied, her voice soft yet firm. She leaned in, her sparkling eyes glinting with secrets. "You've got to hold on to life tight, or it slips away." A chill danced down my spine. What did she mean? A gust of wind brushed past us, rustling the leaves like whispers. I sensed the eyes of onlookers, squinting and whispering, judging us. I could feel their collective disapproval wrap around me like a heavy blanket. Who was this girl? A question I craved to solve. Then, without warning, the girl giggled, and in one swift motion, tossed something into the air. I watched as a few tattered playing cards drifted, catching the last rays of sunlight before fluttering to the ground like fallen leaves. My heart raced. Where had she gotten them? I glanced back at Sarah, who was now transfixed by the swirling cards, her innocent laughter igniting a warmth inside my chest, but also igniting fear. What kind of world was my daughter stepping into? My thoughts tangled deeper, and the weight of my motherly instincts surged. I wanted to pull Sarah away, protect her, but there was a tension in the air, an invisible thread connecting the two girls, sparking a dangerous curiosity. Suddenly, the girl turned to me, her expression shifting to something profound. "You'll see things you never knew existed," she said, a sly smile creeping onto her lips. "But are you ready for it?" My world tilted. What could she possibly know? What was my daughter stepping into? Questions flooded my mind, swirling around like the cards that had fallen. The sun dipped lower, casting long shadows as darkness crept in. I felt panic rising like an incoming tide. Was I about to lose my daughter? Then, without warning, the girl grabbed Sarah's hand and whispered something so quietly that only Sarah could hear. I froze, heart pounding, desperate for the answer that lingered just beyond my reach. "Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The darkness shrouded the playground, cloaking the three of us in uncertainty. My grip on Sarah's hand tightened as I fought against the pulse of dread that surged through me. The girl leaned in, her face mere inches from Sarah's, and whispered something that sent a shiver skimming down my spine. I couldn't make out the words, but I could see the excitement sparking in Sarah's eyes, an innocence that was absolutely radiant, yet painfully fragile. "Come on, let's go," Sarah chirped, her voice high with enthusiasm, completely oblivious to my growing anxiety. The stranger grinned, an expression that felt both inviting and foreboding. Against my better judgment, I let go, allowing them to step away, following the girl across the playground while I remained anchored to the ground, rooted in fear. The part of me wanted to scream, "Don't go. Stay with me." But instead, I clenched my jaw, unwilling to shatter the moment. After all, there was something undeniably magnetic about the girl, something that seemed to ignite a flicker of adventure in my daughter's spirit that had lain dormant for too long. As I watched them talk, a flicker of hope ignited within me, a hope that dared to believe this unexpected encounter could awaken Sarah's adventurous soul. A part of her I feared was being dulled by rules and structures of our everyday life. Glancing at my watch, I counted the minutes, reminding myself that I could be patient, that I could trust in Sarah's ability to navigate the world, even with its shadows, but that hope was tempered by a fresh wave of anxiety. The girl spun around suddenly, her laughter breaking through the air like music, and the way she moved seemed so free, so untroubled by the weight of the world. I felt a sudden pang of envy. What was it like to have such freedom? What dark corners had she danced through to learn the joys that eluded most adults? Still, she couldn't stay with Sarah forever. I felt an unbearable urge to intervene, to draw my daughter back into the safety of routine, but something held me back. Perhaps it was the brief flicker of joy on Sarah's face, or the momentary connection between the two girls that defied all expectations. As they shared whispers and giggles, I stepped back, blending into the fading light. From a distance, I let my watchful gaze linger on them. At that moment, I realized how much I had shielded Sarah from the world, how I had erected walls around her that now seemed too confining for her radiant spirit. Yet another pang of fear clenched my heart. Could I let go just a little, or was I risking everything I had worked so hard to protect? A gentle hand rested on my shoulder, causing me to jump. I turned to find an elderly woman standing beside me, her weathered face solemn, yet kind. "Are you her mother?" she asked softly. Her voice had an intimate quality that immediately disarmed the coils of tension in my chest. "Yes," I replied, unsure how to explain the turmoil of emotions swirling within me. "But I don't know that girl. I just don't want Sarah to get hurt." The woman nodded knowingly, her eyes softening as she met my gaze. "Sometimes, it's in these chance encounters that we learn the most. Please don't forget that." Her words resonated, weaving into my tangled thoughts like a lifeline cast into turbulent waters. Before I could respond, the girls turned back to me. The stranger took a step forward, her exuberance palpable. "We're playing a game." Her voice was bright, clouding the air with a thin veil of mischief. "You'll love it, Mom. You should join us. It's about finding hidden treasures." Sarah's eyes glimmered, and I felt the pull of Innocencia, relentless yearning to dive into this whimsical world the girl promised. Just as a mixture of curiosity and instinct made me take a step closer, I saw the way the girl looked at me, a flicker of something darker lurking beneath those cheerful eyes. "Do you trust her?" I thought. A voice inside me screamed. But before I could answer, an unsettling thought struck like a rogue wave crashing down upon me. What was hidden behind Sarah's budding fascination? Then the ground beneath my feet shifted as if I had stepped off the path into unknown territory. The old woman lingered for just a second longer, her expression grave yet hopeful, as if she perceived something monumental stirring in the shadows. "Mom, look!" Sarah shouted, pulling my attention. The girls burst forth, covered in dirt and leaves, as if they had conjured something from thin air. In Sarah's hands, a beautiful silver locket caught the last glimmers of dusk, its intricate design shimmering like secrets begging to be unveiled. "Where did you find this?" I gasped, my heart racing at the thought of what this silver treasure could signify. Would this be a signal of hope or lead us deeper into an enigma fraught with challenges? The girl shrugged, her grin widening, and with a serious undertone, she said, "Some things choose you. Just like I chose to show you this." As she moved closer, I felt a chill settle in my bones. A revelation loomed. "Like I said, are you ready for it?" she whispered, the air around us heavy with the promise of revelations that would change everything forever. And in that moment, The world around me spun faster, uncertainties looming larger, the darkness creeping in like shadows ready to swallow us whole. The ground felt unstable beneath my feet as the girl's words echoed in my ears. Are you ready for it? With Sarah clutching the locket like a precious secret, I caught my breath, holding tight to the tattered remnants of my sanity. The flickering streetlights cast eerie shadows around us, swallowing any remnant of warmth I desperately tried to cling to. Sarah, show me the locket, I managed to say, my voice trembling as uncertainty twisted my gut. Her excitement blinded her to the undercurrents slithering through the air, the change in the atmosphere palpable. The girl's manufactured warmth, so inviting moments ago, now felt like frost creeping along my spine. It's beautiful, Sarah exclaimed, ignoring the instant tightening in my chest. Can I keep it, Mom? Please? Her face radiated joy, and I yearned to share in her excitement. Yet, an insidious doubt whispered threats of danger, looming uncertainties that threatened to engulf us. Where did you really find it? I was careful, my voice even, though my heart thudded louder with every word. I told you, it chose me, the girl replied with a playful tilt of her head, as though a riddle danced at the edges of her smile. Her eyes sparkled mischief, yet, beneath that youthful exuberance hovered shadows I couldn't quite grasp. And now it's choosing you. What does that mean? I asked, half crouching before Sarah, searching her eyes for the connection we shared, for some anchor amid this swirling chaos. Mom, it's magic, Sarah squealed, her laughter echoing off the metal playground. I closed my eyes for a heartbeat, drawn into the middle of a war between my desire to let her experience life and a primal instinct to shield her from threats unseen. The elderly woman's words manifested in my mind. Sometimes, it's in these chance encounters that we learn the most. But what if this encounter was a darker lesson? What was hidden behind those innocent giggles, drowning in my thoughts? I extended a hand to Sarah, half-heartedly hoping to take her away from the girl's grasp. But just as I reached her, the girl lunged forward, snatching the locket from Sarah's fingers. Not just anyone can keep it, she declared, the playful tone evaporating like morning dew. You have to earn it. Earn it? I challenged, indignation punctuating my words. She's just a child, and so are you. What could possibly be in a game like this? It's not a game, the girl answered, her voice dropping to a whisper that slid into my ears like a chilling breeze. It's about facing what is hidden. There's a darkness in her, just like in you. Each word molded into a pulse of understanding, and my heart felt the truth of it reverberate painfully against my ribs. What on earth do you mean? I shot back defensively, the maternal instinct to protect Sarah erupting like a volcano. She was innocent, my baby. But the girl simply grinned, her smile unfathomable, evoking ancient memories buried deep within my soul. It reminded me of my own childhood moments spent laughing, dancing in the unknown, of adventures in a world that was both incredible and scary. I felt the future flicker like a dying flame. Explain, I demanded, desperation clawing at the edges of my composure. Find out the truth, she said, but her eyes lingered on Sarah with an intensity that coiled a knot in my throat. Once it reveals itself, nothing will be the same. Mom, can't we just play? Sarah interjected, a twinge of confusion clouding her excitement. I want the locket. There it was again, the unyielding yearning that drew her towards the mystery. A fight raged within me, the mundane world of rationality battling against something much larger, an opportunity for Sarah to become something more, something fearless. Yet I felt shadows dance closer, threatening to envelop us both. My gaze darted between the two girls, one of innocence and one of haunting allure. The older girl leaned in closer, inches apart, and what happened next teetered on the brink of an awakening. Do you believe in the stories? She pressed, and for a fleeting moment, it felt like the air grew denser, wrapping itself around us like a spider's web. Sticky and inescapable. Stories? I echoed, bewildered. It was more than just a question. It was both a challenge and a promise. Yes, the stories that make you who you are. They can burden you or free you. Do you feel the weight? I swallowed hard, an emotional swell threatening to push me into depths I hadn't allowed myself to explore. I felt the echo of memories flood my senses, me childhood steeped in love, but shadowed by loss, the stories that shaped and constrained me, leading to this very moment. The girl's expression turned solemn, a shroud of sincerity draping over her mischievous past. Just remember, the treasures aren't just what you find, they're what you uncover inside. Moments later, a loud crash resonated from the direction of an old, rusty swing set as it fell suddenly to the ground, startling us. The darkness that had been hanging in the air felt alive, stirring like underground storm clouds brewing a tempest. And just like that, my heart raced. Despite every ounce of me resisting it, despite every warning bell in my being, an enigmatic pull lured me closer to the strangeness around. "Is this what you mean?" I asked, trying to grasp the implications of her words, the promise of discovery, the unknown truth. Before I could pursue the question, the ground around us shook as a low rumble vibrated through the air, sending chills racing down my arms. "What's happening?" Sarah cried, panic lacing her voice. My instincts kicked in, my hands reaching for her as a sense of urgency boiled in my blood. "I don't know," I shouted back, but the girl merely stood still, her eyes fixed beyond us, a knowing glint flashing through them. Then, with a surprising confidence, she turned to Sarah, voice steady. "Face what lies ahead. If you want the treasure, you'll have to dive into the depths of the shadows." With that, standing apart from the chaos brewing both inside me and around us vanished into thin air, leaving only an echo of laughter that mingled with the tumble of fear whirling through my heart. And just like the locket that dangled beneath Sarah's palm, the promise of hidden truths began to shimmer, illuminating the path ahead, urging us into the darkness from which we may never return. The world spun, disorienting me as I clutched Sarah's hand tight. "Stay close," I yelled, my instinct demanding protection as the ground continued to rumble beneath our feet. The shadow of the swing set lay untouched, yet the sense of something ominous filled the space, stoking a fire of tension deep inside me. "Mom." Sarah's voice trembled. Her face appeared paler under the flickering light, eyes wide and searching mine for reassurance. What did she mean? What treasure? What shadows? I wanted to shield my daughter from the fears that flitted around us like angry fireflies, but the words of the girl intertwined with thoughts I could no longer silence. "Those were just stories, baby," I replied, though the hesitance in my voice betrayed me. The truth was, I was no longer sure where the line lay between story and reality. "Let's go home," but before I could finish, Sarah's grip tightened further, her eyes still locked on the spot where the girl had stood moments before. "I want to know. What if we don't get the chance again?" A wave of conflicting emotions surged through me: fear, anger, love, me heart battling incessantly. The locket lay heavy in her palm, the promise of magic stifled in the grip of a child's yearning. For a moment, a flicker of desperation cut through the chaos as I consider her words. What if this turned out to be something greater? "Mom," she whispered, shifting from panic to palpable excited determination. "You said stories help us learn. What if this is our story?" The shifting sentiment made my stomach twist. A year ago, I would have gently tucked Sarah away from all things strange. I would have clung to the familiar, avoiding matters that stirred chaos into our lives. But now her eagerness ignited a hesitant flicker of hope within me, a fragile bet on something wondrous overdue in our routine existence. Could we, in this moment, step into the unknown? "Okay, then let's figure this out together," I whispered, though doubts plagued me. I found the courage to face Sarah's wide-eyed optimism, for even in the storm, her vision flickered bright. But a jolt of uncertainty snaked around the edges of my reason, igniting questions I had buried for so long. What if the shadows were not just external, but also the darkness lurking within us? "I know," Sarah said suddenly, drawing me from my spiraling thoughts. "Maybe we just have to look for her." She seemed like she knew a lot. As reverberations of the unsettling shift stilled around us, I let out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. She was just a girl, even if different. And we can't chase after every stranger that crosses our path. We have to try, Mom. The fervor in her voice calmed a flurry of my internal doubts, for she was right. New possibilities simultaneously thrilled and terrified me. Just then, the streetlights flickered ominously, causing shadows to stretch and warp around us. A wind picked up, pulling at our clothes, and filled my ears with whispers that felt eerily familiar. The weight of secrets flooded into my awareness, voices from the past callously nudging at the edges of my mind. Mom, Sarah said quietly, look. Her expression shifted, turning from eagerness to something more profound. I shifted my gaze to where she pointed, noticing a series of symbols etched around a nearby tria mix of childish scrawls woven with intricate designs. Instinctively, I walked closer to investigate, heart pounding with each step. The markings seemed to pulse, a soft hum vibrating in the air. Kneeling down, I traced my finger along the carvings, each curve and line conjuring echoes of forgotten youth. This as I began, but my voice faltered. Stories of the past swirled into